The mysterious Deathlok from the future has stalked Conan the Barbarian and his allies across time and space. Can they ever hope to defeat this future threat? Well, let's hop into the pages of Savage Avengers issue number 3 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up from where the last issue left off, you'll remember that Elektra, the woman without fear, had let it slip to the rest of the group that she thought she had the perfect idea to finally not only take down the deadly thorn in their side that was Deathlok, but also get them back home to the modern era. As we discover joining this issue, it actually involves an ancient hand temple, maybe the most ancient hand temple. Now, up until now, this Deathlok has been going all Terminator style, tracking our heroes across the ancient sword and sorcery world. But now the good guys are finally ready to flip the script on Deathlok. They know what he's capable of, and they decide to go all Spartan warriors in 300, knowing full well that sometimes choosing where you fight is even more important than choosing how you fight. Cloak is up first, managing to teleport both the team and Deathlok over to that hand temple that I mentioned before. Dagger fills him up next with period-appropriate light arrows. Again, the caption box is here telling us that being in this strange place with so much magic is seeming to affect how some of the Savage Avengers powers actually work. Flash Thompson, Agent Venom, goes back to his high school football roots and does what he calls a sacrifice play, trying to wear the Deathlok down and keep him busy long enough so Black Knight can figure out the strange technological frequency that this Deathlok uses to heal itself, and with that finally in mind, Dane can come at him with his totally legally distinct laser sword that we promise isn't a lightsaber. Please don't sue us. Or at least that's how it used to be back in the day. Now Disney owns Star Wars, so by all means Black Knight can use his lightsaber as much as he wants and maybe even call it that too. Jeez man, we got Conan, we got Star Wars, and we got Terminator all in the same series. This really is a wonderful genre stew, isn't it? Now the heroes are doing really good in this fight so far, but we've seen this before. When the Deathlok's back is against the wall, it's gonna lash out with a bunch of gamma radiation. Normally this would be really bad, but luckily the Savage Avengers have their own Hulk in Weapon H. He's there in just the right time to siphon off as much of the power as he can, in doing so turning himself red even. Now in classic action movie fashion, you're probably thinking, hey wait, Elektra hasn't done anything yet, that means her thing is probably going to be the coolest. Well, it is. This entire fight was to try and get Deathlok on an old hand altar. On top of being an assassin and a superhero, Elektra is also an archpriestess of the hand, meaning she has access to some of the darkest magics known to the beast. The plan is to try and kill two birds with one stone, defeat Deathlok and use him as a blood sacrifice to open up a portal to the future. Only here's the problem though, the Savage Avengers have been spending so much time trying to figure out how they're going to defeat their foe from the future, they never stop to consider they may actually have an even more deadly enemy here in the past out to get them. I'm of course talking about the undead champion of Set, Thulsa Doom, one of the greatest necromancers ever to live, Scourge of the Age of Kull. And also the villain from the Schwarzenegger Conan movie, which means probably the only villain most casual Conan fans actually know. Thulsa springs his attack against the Savage Avengers and goes on a whole great villainous monologue about how he and Conan are actually not so different. They are both walkers of time and space, chosen by fate and the gods to usher in a brand new era as a snake sheds its skin. Pretty heavy stuff, right? Thulsa Doom also quickly puts himself over as the real big bad of this series, walking through our cast of heroes just when they were riding high from their major victory. He's got all the traditional bad sorcerer mojo, making our heroes fight their worst fears, turning them against each other by bewitching their minds with magic. Even poor Elektra herself is forced to do battle with a version of the beast who actually doesn't look like the big gross frog thing, but I find it interesting that he too is actually wielding a sai. How about that? In an act of true irony, the heroes actually only survive this battle with Thulsa Doom because Deathlok manages to pull out more of his weird time-jumping tech. Though sadly, Conan himself was grabbed before the jump could have been made, meaning that our heroes are going to have to rescue him before they decide on how they're going to get back home again. Now that's a lot to take in, but believe it or not, the comic has one last major surprise to offer before it's all said and done. You see, we check back on in with the Deathlok and we see him seeing his own reflection. Obviously, there's been dozens of different Deathloks over the years, and they've been particularly mysterious about what this one's backstory is, well as we discover he may actually be a version of Miles Morales from the far-flung future. Which could probably explain why he had such great insight on the heroes beyond even just regular old future files and why he was able to keep up with them every step of the way like he did. And so that was Savage Avengers issue number 3, everybody, and once again, this series really does manage to bring it every single issue. Big action-packed non-stop thrill rides like this are hard to write, but David Pepose manages to do just that, and that's me saying that as someone who usually tends to zone out whenever I think action scenes are going on too long, and this issue really was just 2 really good action scenes back to back. But Savage Avengers definitely manages to keep me invested, and I can't wait to see where we're going to go next, what with the crazy revelations we had at the end of this issue. Overall, I'd give it another very positive 8 out of 10. I'm basically not reading any non-X-Men team books right now from either of the big 2 comic companies, so the fact that this one keeps managing to pull me back means that it's definitely doing something right, and I think you'll probably like it too.
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.